Today, we're going to be talking about leave. And specifically today, we're going to be covering how you and your employees can add and edit leave and unavailability. We're also going to be looking at leave balances and how you can set them up and view them in your Deputy. Also, the different types of leave reports that you have available to see the leave and unavailability. And also we're going to be focusing on public holidays, so how you can add them into your schedule and also different ways that you can manage public holidays related to pay. So as usual, same as every month, we're going to be running a Q&A session at the end. Please be mindful though that we can't answer account specific questions. So if you have anything specific about your account, just make sure to reach out to our support team, and you can do that through the chat and they'll be able to assist you. So any questions you have, just try and keep them general. So today, when you are asking questions, please make sure to use the Q&A feature. I can see someone's raising questions already. That's brilliant. Yeah, with the Q&A feature, we will be able to answer as many questions as possible. And if we aren't able to get to your question today, we will be able to respond to it later when we add the webinar to our website. Please don't post any questions in the chat just because we aren't able to take those away after the meeting. So any questions in the chat won't be responded to, but we will do our best just to give you a nudge and a reminder just to go to the Q&A section. But as I said, keep saying hi to each other. That's really, really great to see.
Hi, Kate. Sorry, it's Michaela. Can I interrupt very quickly?
Of course you can, Michaela.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michaela. I'm the customer trainer here at Deputy. I've just had somebody ask a question in the Q&A and I've clicked the wrong button, so I can't answer back. But just so that you all know, this meeting is being recorded and you will all get a copy of the recording of this meeting in your email tomorrow. Zoom will automatically send that out to you. So I hope that answers the question. Thanks for the interruption, Kate.
No worries, Michaela. Good to have you. Michaela's just helping us in the background. She'll be the wonderful person answering all your questions. Pressure on Michaela. Yeah, so please just make sure you use the Q&A feature rather than the chat. So just moving on next, we also just want to remind you, obviously we have our monthly webinars, but we have a huge number of resources available to you on our help.deputy.com. So if you need any help at all at any time, you can go to the chat in your Deputy and just use the search function to type anything: leave balances, leave accrual, how to approve leave, all sorts of things like that. You can find lots of articles there as well. And also you can go to deputy.com/training, which is where you'll be able to find all our webinars as well. So we've got lots of resources available for you, but now I am going to hand over to the lovely Charles, who is going to kick off with our leave management training.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome everyone to our monthly webinar. Like Kate said, my name is Charles, and I am a customer success manager here at Deputy. Now, before we get started, let me just jump quickly into a prepared test account. Okay, now welcome to our test account. The first thing we're going to do is to show how you and your team members or your employees can request time off and the difference between leave and unavailability. In the Me tab, where we are right now, if we scroll down where it says Calendar, right here, we can see that below and on the right, we have a button that says Request Time Off. Now, if we click on that, a window will pop up on the right and on the right-hand side of our screen. As you can see here, this window is divided into different categories. We have at the top our details, below our unavailability, and below our leave, with the option to add new unavailabilities and add new leave. In Deputy, we differentiate between unavailability and leave in a certain sense. Basically, by default, all of your casuals are considered available to work unless they have unavailabilities set up. A casual should not request leave if they cannot work a certain day. They should only use unavailability. Leave is more for your full-timers, your part-timers, and your salaried staff, for them to request leave, as if they're paid with the award, they do have access to leave. But please note that unavailability is also available for your full-time, part-time staff. It is not an exclusivity for casuals. Now, now that we've done this, let's request time off, and let's start with leave. So like you can see here, we have our leave, and right here, we have a button that says Add New. Now, all we need to do is click here on Add New, and it's going to ask us the leave request. We can select our start date, our end date. It could be just a single date. So for example, I can request just for tomorrow, or I can request for a longer period of time. I can say, for example, from the 1st of February until the 7th of April. Now that I've selected my date, below we have a drop-down menu where we select our leave type. Now, if I click here, this will show all of the different leave types that are accessible for this employee in regards to the awards or the leave that we have assigned to them. In this case, for myself, as this is my account, you can see that I have access to annual leave as in days, vacation, bereavement leave, community service leave, and so forth. Now, all of these can be changed in the People tab, where we will go later on. In our case, let's just select annual leave. And let's select, first of all, a more logical time frame. So let's go from the 1st of February to the 9th. And let's select annual leave vacation. Now, since I've selected annual leave vacation, you should have seen below that this little area has been populated with my type of leave, my current balance in hours and in days, any upcoming leave that I have, and any remaining leave. So it's basically my current balance minus my upcoming leave. And the date it was updated, the 12th of March, 2021. Now below we have a comment. In Deputy, we need to put a comment for our leave to be approved. Just put this here. As you can see here right now, I cannot request any leave. This button is grayed out. I need to put in a comment. So I'll put as a comment annual leave. And then I need to notify a manager. I can notify as many as managers as I want. If I want to notify just one manager, I can. For example, let's ask my colleague Sam. Now I have added Sam. I can also notify another manager if need be. If I'm, for example, working on multiple locations and I need both of my managers to approve, we have them divided by locations. At the top, we have right here, the bakery with all my different managers and their status level. And below, we have the rotisserie with the same thing, my managers and the status level. Okay. So once that we've done that, we can see that now this button is highlighted in purple. This allows us to then request the leave. And if I click on add, my manager that I have notified, in this case, Sam, will receive a notification saying that someone has requested leave. So if I click here, blocked. Okay. Now we can see right here that the leave has already been blocked because the administrator has blocked the 3rd of February. So that just means I need to change. This means that for the 3rd of February, time off requests have been blocked for this date, which I will show you later on how to do that. So let's just change the date and click on add. And now you can see that my leave request has been sent to Sam, as you can see right here, and is awaiting to be approved or declined. Now, this is from the point of view of an employee or a manager. The system is the same for leave requests. To request unavailabilities, all we need to do is go back, and here, click on Add New. The process is exactly the same between unavailability and leave. So we select our date. We can select if it's all day or for a certain type from 11 to 12. This gives us more flexibility. I can decide if I want to repeat this. This is very useful, for example, if I am a student that cannot work, let's say, Wednesdays and Thursdays because I'm at uni. Or if I have a second job or have a child to take care of, I can block every week, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, or every month, any day of the week. I can also have an end date or never have an end date. Same thing, we need a reason for unavailability. However, the main difference between unavailability and leave is that you do not need to request approval from your manager for unavailability. Unavailability is the responsibility of the employee or of the team member. Now, let's go back. So now we have requested leave. We have shown how to request unavailability. However, in our case, we are a manager. How does that work? Now, if we are a manager, which is my case in this account, if I scroll back to the top, you can see in the Me tab, I have right here the needs approval and with one request assigned to you. I can see here it says a leave request. All my leave requests will show up in my needs approval part in the dashboard. Now to access it, all we need to do is click here. This will show us who requested the leave, at what time, the type of leave, and the comment. So you can see here it was requested by Sasha for annual leave from Friday, the 20th of January, so tomorrow, until the 11th of February. These ones are the ones that are assigned to me. And if I could see other requests, it would be here to see if there was other requests assigned to my colleagues. Now, if I wanted to accept or decline that leave, all I need to do is click here. And this will take me to a new window, with more details. So you can see here, we have, like I said, a detailed view of the leave request, when it was submitted, who are the approvers, the requested leave. I can change the dates if I want. Here are the people that have been requested to approve. That means, for example, if you have a team member that requests leave from multiple different type of managers, you would see it here. Now, if a leave is requested, has been requested to be approved by different managers, the first one to approve it validates the leave. Okay. So with this, let's just quickly, one moment, Zoom is getting in my way. There we go. Okay, now if we go below, we can see the leave type, the days, and here we have non-working days. This is a detailed breakdown. This allows me as a manager to be like, okay, well, he requested annual leave. Do I want to give him annual leave for all of those days? Do I want to do annual leave and unpaid leave? Do I want to refuse certain days? This is where I would do it. What I can do is here, I have the select button that allows me to select if I want just weekdays, weekends, or all days. In this case, let's select weekdays. And then here is set type. This allows me to select what type of leave I want to use as a manager. And you can see it can be a non-working day, an annual leave, days, vacation, bereavement leave. This allows me to change that leave request to better either suit the balance or anything like that. If I'm okay with all the different days, I can just go, okay, annual leave, vacation, click here. And now we can see that everything has been added at the top. We can see Sasha's current balance of 50 hours or 6 days. This request is for 83 hours or 11 days if he has any upcoming, and his future balance would be of negative 33 hours. This means that Sasha would have taken too much leave. And now I can see here the 7.36 hours, which is a standard deputy day. And on the top, if you look, it says one standard day is 0 hours, 0 minutes. This is later, for example, is a we block time off. So this might be accepted or might not. So let's keep scrolling down. Here we have leave requests, and I can approve or notify. And I don't need to put any comment. However, if I wish to decline, I need to put in comments. So if I say declined due to leave debt, then now I can decline and notify my team member. I can notify Sasha that his leave has been declined. And like I said, if I wish to approve it, I do not need to do anything. So let's just erase here, click on approve. And now the system works a little. And there it is, all leaves approved. We are all good. So like I said, this is how we approve leave as a manager. As a manager, to request leave, we have this option right here for the request time off. We do have another option, which I will quickly show you, that only works for managers. So if you go into your People tab, select yourself. So in my case, Charles, right here. If I scroll down to leave, where I can see my different leave balances, the different leave types that I have. This is my leave request. Now, if I click on Add New, I do not need to ask for a manager if I go through this process to request leave. This only works for managers. Employees cannot do that. Employees need to request manager approval. Now, the reason for this is from some security reasons that I have tried to understand from our engineers. And to be honest, I did not really understand. But as a manager, like I said, you have two ways of requesting leave. And this also allows you, quick parentheses, as a manager to apply leave also directly to your team members instead of going through the Me tab. For example, let's say I have Joe right here. I can right here go to leave and request leave for him. Now, now we've done this, let's talk about our leave balances and integration. In this section, we will mostly talk about Xero and MYOB as integrations, as these are our major integrations with whom we sync leave balances. And for the other payroll, we do integrate with them. However, we only export the leave timesheets. There is no back and forth syncing of balances between Xero and Deputy or Xero and MYOB as we have with the other payroll softwares. Now, to do that, all we need to do is go to here on the top right where it says Hello Charles. Click here, click on Integrations. This will show all of our integrations. To see if we are connected with our correct integration, we click here on Connected, and we can see that this account is connected to Xero. Now, and the process between Xero and MYOB for the connection is exactly the same. So now let's click on Xero. And this will show me all of my different connected locations. So I can see I have my bakery that is connected and my rotisserie that is connected. If I click on Configure, I can see all the different configurations, all different extensions that I can have between Xero and Deputy. And we also have this right here. Now, this for this account has been disabled. What this means is if you have your leave set up in Xero, you can use this extension to import the leave balance from Xero into Deputy. What this means is that when your employees, your team members are requesting leave in Deputy, Deputy and Xero will sync, and then the information from Xero will be updated and synced back to Deputy. Now, the way this sync works is basically once we have connected Xero and or MYOB to our account, Deputy and Xero MYOB connect every night. This is where the leave balance comes through. Now, one thing to take into account for MYOB and for MYOB and actually Xero is that for the sync to happen, we must first have our leaves set up in Deputy and in our payroll software. It is very important to make sure that the same leave types exist. If you have annual leave in Deputy, you need annual leave in Xero and MYOB. If you have a sick leave, you need that sick leave as well. If sick leave and carers leave are two different leave, you need to have sick leave and carers leave as two different leaves in Xero and or MYOB. Now, a little plus for the Xero users is you need to make sure that your export codes, which I will show you right now. So Charles, business settings, leave. These right here match between MYOB and Xero. And it has to be the same. And furthermore, it has to be less than 31 characters, including spaces. That is a little particularity of MYOB that unfortunately we cannot change. So like I said, once the connection has been established and we have the same leave in Deputy and in your payroll software, Xero or MYOB, MYOB, then the leave syncs overnight. So now let's add some leave. Let's say that the leave that we propose in Deputy by default doesn't exist. The leaves you have doesn't exist in Deputy. You might have some special leave, cultural holidays, or things like that. Now, to do that is very simple. We kind of showed it before. So if you just go back, hello, Charles, business settings, this is where we go on leave. This part allows us to, if we want our team members to view their leave balance, also if we want them to be able to amend or cancel their approved leave request, which can always be useful. But what we're interested in is here, leave rules. Now, the leave rules allows us to edit leave. So if I wish to change for example, my bereavement leave, I can click on this little button right here where it says edit and change the name, change if it's paid leave or unpaid leave, change the type, if it's visible to my team members, if there's a accrual, if I wish to export it, and so forth and so forth. And also, how do I wish to track the leave? Is it in hours or in days? So everything I do here, I need to make sure to click on save, because otherwise it will not automatically save. Let's get cancel edit. And if I wish to add a new leave, all I need to do is go up to the left where it says new leave condition. And then I can create my own leave. I can put in any name I want. I could be, for example, a COVID vaccination leave. Is it a paid leave, unpaid leave? Let's say it's paid leave. What type of leave? I can assign it to a different type of leave. It could be time off in lieu, unpaid leave, carers leave, bereavement leave, and so forth. So let's go with sick leave. Visible to team members, yes. Do I wish to export? If it's a paid leave, I might wish to export it. So I can export using a export code, which I would need to write and make sure that this leave is in my payroll software with the same export code. And below, I can also change my hours. Once I'm happy with that, click on Save this leave condition, and my leave is saved. So let's just for here, click on Do Not Export for Payroll, click on Save this leave, and now we can see if we go back to the list, I have my COVID vaccination leave. Now, next to, as you can see in the actions, we have this magnifying glass, which allows us to see more details, the edit button, and some of our leave have a red X, others do not. Now, the red X allows us to delete that leave rule. The only reason why some of them have the red X, others do not, is the only way to delete a leave in Deputy is that no one has requested it or is pending an approval on it. In our case, I already have used my annual leave vacation for approving Sasha's leave, so I cannot erase that leave. However, I have just created the COVID vaccination leave. And if for some reason nobody uses it, I can just click here, and it's going to ask me if I'm sure to delete this record. Okay, and now it's gone. So this is how we add leave. Now, if you go back, add leave, amend leave, and delete leave. So let's go back and let's go to our People tab. Now here in the People tab, what I can do is I can decide to display my leave balances. In this case, it's already here. As you can see, I have my leave balance with my different employees' leave balance. I can see that Charles has 50 hours of annual leave. Roy has 50 hours annual leave as well, and so forth and so forth. To display that, all I need to do is go here where it says display and select leave balance. If I unclick it, it will just show like this. By default, in Deputy, you will just have the name of your employees, team members, and their access level. And if I wish to do something else, this allows me to see their status, email, mobile, and so forth. Usually, we recommend having the email, the mobile. That way, if you need to contact them, you can contact them quite quickly if they're running late, if they're sick, or so forth. And you can also add the leave balance. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's actually add leave to one of my team members. So we can see here at the top, we have Cass Miller. Cass Miller is a new employee, a new team member of the Ducleon Rotisserie or the Ducleon Bakery. So let's click on Cass Miller's name. This will take me to her profile, where I can see that we have the personal details, a preferred name, date of birth, and so forth. Now, I want to click on employment. So let's click on employment. And if I go on the pay details, working hours, I can see here that we have no leave entitlement for Cass. This is because, well, Cass has nothing set. This is a blank slate. So what we do, let's click on edit. Now, this allows me to edit the employment details, access level, hire date, if having training. But what's interesting for us is here, the pay details, and at the bottom, the leave entitlement. Now, by default, in Deputy, all team members, when we create them, get access to annual leave, sick personal care leave, and unpaid leave. However, these only start to accumulate, to accrue, if they are assigned a pay rate. Now, if Cass is a casual, which in this case Cass is, Cass does not have access to this. So what I can do is just go here, click on remove, and start removing all the different leave entitlements. If Cass is no longer a casual and becomes a part-time or full-time paid on the award or on a salary, I can add the leave entitlements just by clicking here and selecting the different one that we had. Now, all of these leaves were the ones that are present in our leave rules in the business settings. So I have deleted the COVID vaccination leave, but if I had not deleted it, it would show up here. And I can add just like that and remove them. Now, let's go back to our case as Cass is a casual. So Cass is a casual. This is how it is. And we just need to set the rate. So full-time, casual, and then I can set the rates, the award, the HIGA award, and there it is. So since we've set for the casual, the HIGA award, like I said, it automatically populated downstairs as well. So we just need to just remove them. It's actually better to set the pay rates before doing the leave entitlement. That way you don't have to do it twice like I just did. And now I can just put in Cass's base hourly rates, let's say 23.49, and then we should be good. Click on save. So let's jump into an employee. Let's just say, for the case of this webinar, that Cass is no longer a casual. Cass is now a full-timer. So this is Cass's profile. Click on edit. Let's just change from employment type casual to full-time. This is going to ask me to research for the award. I got full-time. Let's put it at the same rates just in case. And now, like I said, this automatically populated. Click on save. And if we go on the left side of our screen and we scroll down to leave, now we have Cass's leave balance with the standard day being 7.36 hours. Now, these standard days is calculated depending on how your leave is calculated, if it's calculated in hours or in days. Now, you can change a standard date individually. So you have to change the leave balance and so forth. What you can do is, if we just go back very quickly to our People tab, if I select my different employees that have a different standard date, or if I wish to assign a standard date to everyone, I just click here, click on Bulk Actions, and then I have set standard hours. And this is basically the number of hours that are payable for 1 day of leave. And you can see right here, not applicable to 2 team members selected, as they do not have a pay rate assigned to their profile. And like I said before, leave is only available for people that have an assigned pay rate, if they are a full-time or a part-time. And here I can set it to 7.36. Oh, okay, not 17. And click on Save. And now it has been done to everyone. And at the top right, you can see that Diana and Joe has not been set for them because they do not have a pay rate assigned to their profile. Now, in our case, we're okay with that. Let's go back to Cass's leave balance. Now, this is Cass's leave balance. Let's say Cass had leave balance has been working for us for quite some time. We do not use Xero, we do not use MYOB. Therefore, we need to import her leave balance. What I can do is I can manually import their leave balance just by clicking Edit right here. And I can put in there the different hours. Once that is done, so let's say Cass has 24 hours of annual leave and 12 hours of sick personal cares leave. Click on Save. And now you can see that it has been updated, and now we have their current balance. Okay. So with that done, let's see. So now that we have deleted, so now what we've done is we've added leave, added unavailability, seen how a manager can approve or disapprove it. We talked about leave balance of the sync. Now let's talk about public holidays. Now, yesterday was Australia Day. Australia Day is a public holiday. Some of you may have worked, some of you may have not worked. So when you're doing your schedule, if you are open for Australia Day, if we go to our schedule, we can see that in Deputy for the 26th, nothing is written. By default, Deputy does not have public holidays. It is for you to input them in Deputy, or if you have a list of public holidays, you can always reach out to our support team to see if they can add it in the backend. This is especially useful if you have locations in different states, where, for example, Queen's birthday can be any day of the year, depending on where you live in Australia. Now, back to our public holiday. If I wish to put a public holiday and therefore have my employees paid a public holiday rate, nothing is more easy. All I need to do is click on the day right here. And this will show up a little window where I can either block time off requests or create a public holiday. Now, in this case, let's create a public holiday. All I need to do is click here. Let's go back. And now you can see that this day has been highlighted in red. And at the top, there is a little umbrella, beach umbrella, signifying a public holiday. What this means is that any employee that is subject to public holiday rates, if I schedule them here, they will be paid on a public holiday rate. The timesheet will show that it's a public holiday and will apply that rate. What I can do, for example, let's say you're open for Christmas or Australia Day, but you don't want your employees to request time off. Click on the day, and now I can block time off requests. Now, blocking time off requests, as you can see here, now I have a little stop sign, or basically blocks all time off. Unavailability, leave, everything is blocked for that date. This is a great way for you to, especially maybe in advance for the upcoming Christmas season, to start blocking time off requests, maybe a couple of days before Christmas to make sure that everybody is there when it becomes schedule hectic. And you can combine both. As you can see now, I have blocked my time off request and I have my public holiday. I just want to have my block time off request. All I need to do is click here, and that's it. And now I can just change it back to this. Okay. Now, before we jump into one of our scenarios, we'll just talk about the reports, because we've talked about how to set up leave, how to import leave balances, how to create new leave rules. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to, as a manager, to see who has requested what, where, when, who is playing the game, who is overspending leave, and all of that. So to do that, all we need to do is click on our reports right here. And here we have our different reports. We have a contact tracing, journal usage, and the one that interests us is this one right here, leave management. Now, if I click on leave management, this will open a report. Whereas a lot of things in Deputy, I can see at the top left, I have my locations. I can select all of my locations, a specific location, or even if I want to be a little more precise, a specific area within a location. So let's go back to all locations. And then I can see who has requested any annual leave. I can filter by annual leave days, annual leave vacation. Now we can see that, for example, Charles was last on leave 189 days ago. I have 42 hours of leave remaining, and I have a leave upcoming on the 31st of January. The ones that show up with a warning sign are people that, let me just, there we go. If we let our mouse hover over it, it says not entitled or no pay rate assigned. So it's just for you a little reminder of, okay, well, if Diana, Joe, who else, Taylor have no leave assigned to them, that probably means that no leave assigned to them, that probably means that maybe their pay rate has not been set up correctly, or the leave has not been set up correctly. So here I can see the different types of leave. I can see if they're entitled or not entitled. And if I scroll down, we can see, for example, my colleague Sasha was last on leave 36 days ago, and he has minus 33 hours of leave. So he'll be working for free almost for at least a month, and so forth and so forth. And this button allows me to sync again, or to change the history, I should say. Now, if we go at the top, you could see here we have an import leave balance button. Now, I've showed you how to import leave balance manually. You go into the People tab, you click on your team member, scroll down to leave, show their leave balance, and then you can add the hours. If I click here, this allows me to import or drag and drop an Excel or a CSV file with all my different team members and their leave, just drag it in, and then Deputy just connects, well, not connects automatically, just takes into account and updates all of the leaves from here. This is a great way for you to not do it manually, just to go a bulk action. So it's in the reports, leave management report, import leave balance. Here, this allows me to export this leave report as a CSV, so an Excel spreadsheet. If I wish to pass it on to my accountant, or if I like to have it as a CSV because I want to change a few things. And here, this is about the different leave settings. And I can see here, this takes me to my leave rules, which exactly like in the business settings, I can modify, delete, create a new leave. And on the right-hand side, we have here leave waiting approval. I've requested leave, and I'm waiting for Sam to approve it. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's go back to our schedule. Now, a couple minutes ago, I talked about the public holiday not worked. And before we jump into the Q&A, let's quickly go through that scenario. So basically, the public holiday not worked is for full-time team members or part-time team members that get paid the normal rate, even though they're not working. Now, to do that, in Deputy, you need to go into your locations, the location of, I go to Edit Settings, Areas, create an area called Public Holiday Not Work, Public Holiday Not Worked, Add. Be sure to click on Save, otherwise this will not save. You can also, if you do not want to create an area, create a location called Public Holiday Not Worked. Both system work. Go back to your schedule. Now we should see, here it is for the bakery, Public Holiday Not Worked. Now let's go into next week and put the 4th as a public holiday. Now, my 4th is a public holiday, and here is my public holiday not worked. So what I need to do here is to schedule my team members, my employees, as I would, but schedule them in the public holiday not worked area and/or location. And from there, what you need to do is contact our 24/7 support team, asking them to turn off the public holiday rate for that specific area, so public holiday not worked, or if it is a location, for the location called Public Holiday Not Worked. That way, when the timesheet is generated, the timesheet will not use the public holiday rate, but the normal public holiday, the normal working rate. Now, if instead of getting paid, your team members earn a time off in lieu, the process is exactly the same. However, then you need to go into your location settings so that accrues the time off in lieu for that specific location. Or you could contact our 24/7 support team, telling them I've created a public holiday not worked. My employees do not get paid. They get a time off in lieu instead. Can we unlock this? Now, before we jump back into the Q&A with my colleagues, Kate and Diana, let's do a quick recap of what we talked about. So we talked about adding leave and unavailability and the main difference between them. Leave balance, how to import them. So you can import them through Xero and/or MYOB if you work with those, or manually if you have past leave balance, or you can go through the report, leave management, import leave balance if you wish to have more of a bulk update. Perfect segue into our leave reports that you can export as a CSV. You can see who has requested what, who is positive, who is negative. Remember Sasha with his minus 33 hours. We talked about public holiday, how to add them, how to block time off request as well, and the public holiday not worked scenario. And also public holiday not worked, but time off in lieu, or RDO. Now that we've done this, I will leave you in the capable hands of my colleague, Kate and Diana.
Thank you so much for that, Charles. We've had a lot of great questions come through. Thanks everyone for sending them through. We've picked out a few that we think would provide the most value for everyone in this session. We'll get to the ones we've missed after this session and we'll publish them on the webinar landing page, and we'll send them out in an email with a recording of today's training. So let's get into it. So the first question I've got, really great question. How can I add a new leave rule to Deputy? Our annual leave resets every calendar year. Where do I go to set this up? So you'll actually set this up where you're setting up the leave type. Charles, if you could please just navigate back to the screen. Yep. And then we'll have to go through to the profile and then business settings. So hello, Charles, business settings. We'll select leave rules. So by default, there's actually 10 leave types. And if we need to, click on select a new leave type, so scroll up, new leave condition. Here you'll actually set up the leave. So you'll enter in the name of the leave. In this case, Charles, let's put in family leave. and then paid leave, whether it's paid or unpaid. So unpaid leave will not show up in your timesheet or be paid out. You will then select the type. So we can just choose parental leave. Yep. And then the next option, whether it's visible to a team member or not. So if you don't want it to be visible, for example, for a no-show or something sensitive, you would actually apply it after the timesheet. So in this case, let's put it as visible, Charles. We then have the option of selecting reset leave accrual. So this answers the second question that I had, where you asked, our annual leave resets every calendar year. Where do I go to set this up? So you have the option of resetting it on a schedule, so based on a monthly or annual, or on a work anniversary. So in this case, we can reset on schedule, scroll down, and you'll see that there's actually templates that you can select. Charles, if we click on custom schedule, you can see there's already schedules set up for you. So we could choose any out of all of those. So in this case, we'll just choose just at the very end. Yep, Wednesday all day. And now if we scroll back up, we'll see that there's the export rule for payroll. So if it's a paid leave and you're exporting it, you will actually need to have an export code. Export codes will vary depending on your payroll system. For example, WageEasy will use numbers, while other payroll systems will use letters. So in this case, we're not going to export it for payroll. We'll just leave it as that, Charles. We'll then have the track leave in. So this actually identifies whether we're going to be tracking leave in hours or days. Just to make sure, you will need to make sure that every time you choose this, you have to choose carefully, as the existing leave balances for employees will not be automatically converted or carried over if you switch between these options. In this case, Charles, let's just leave it as hours. So once you're done selecting all of these options, you can then scroll up and then save this leave condition. And then once you go back to the list, you will then be able to see it just sitting right there for you. So that answers the first question. On to you, Kate, now for the next question.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, as she said, lots of great questions coming in. We've had one here about leave accrual. So is annual leave accrued in Deputy? And also when staff request it, is it deducted? So absolutely, you can set up leave accrual in Deputy. So Charles, my wonderful maestro, can you please just close the leave rules for a second and just go to Hello, Charles. And then go to integrations. And we're going to find the Deputy extensions, which we've already got set up for a few other things. So let's pick one of our locations. So just go to configure. Oh, it wouldn't be a demonstration without a slow screen. So Charles, if you can just search for the accrual, probably easier to go through them. So there's approved timesheet, leave request, and accrue and deduct leave balance. So this will allow your employees to earn leave with each hour that they work. So leave accrual isn't set up in default in Deputy, so you will need to do this if you do want your employees to start accruing leave. So yes, let's choose it for annual leave vacation. And then where it says deduct leave only, which as I mentioned is the default, Charles, if you can just click on the box, super, and then just select accrue and deduct. So it's really going to depend on the type of staff that you have and the award that they're on. But let's say, for example, someone accrues 0.1 per hour of work. Maybe I'm being generous there, perhaps I am. And then you also have the option to switch it on for all of your locations, and also if they can accrue it while on paid leave. So that will depend on your setup. So if we click save. Thank you, Charles. We're not. Okay, here we go. So we've saved our leave accrual, hopefully. Yeah, super, it's there. Okay, great. So we've saved it. That's a relief. So what you can then do, so you'll then be able to see the leave balances against employees. So as they are accruing leave, you'll be able to see what they have accrued against their balance. So Charles, if you can go to the People tab, let's have a look at what it looks like on the employee profile. So if you can click on yourself, Charles, there, I think you've been very hardworking and earned some leave. So if you just click on leave, then you can see there the current balance. So that will just show you how much they've earned. We can also see that Charles has some requested leave. So he has 8 hours of upcoming leave there. So that will then also project your future balance as well. So you'll be able to see how much leave is coming up, and that will then show you the deducted balance as well. Super. Diana, have we had any more questions?
Yes, we definitely do. The next question that I feel that would be really beneficial for everyone is, what reports would you suggest us to use to view annual leave and unavailability? So Charles, if we could please just close that screen for now. What we would do is go to reports. And the two reports that I would definitely recommend would be the leave management and a time off and schedule report. So if we click on leave management, full view report. Over here, you can actually break down the leave types in the filters. So on the very bottom, you can look at the leave type. You can edit the leave balance as well for each of the employees. Note that this is only possible if they have leave entitlement enabled in their profile. And you'll also be able to quickly view the employee profiles as well by clicking on the employee names. The other report that we'd suggest would be the time off and schedule report. This report will actually give us a quick overview to see who's taken leave and when, and this helps us making sure that we don't have specific people overlapping for certain leave. Here you can actually filter by the leave type as well as the employees. So I think we've probably got time for another question. Kate, do you have another question that we could do Q&A for?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So one more question that we have had quite a lot is around overriding unavailability and leave in the schedule. So it's not possible to block staff from requesting unavailability or leave, but you can, if someone does do it, you can remove it. But you can also do that from the schedule as well, in terms of just overriding it if you do need to schedule in a staff member who has requested leave or unavailability. So Charles, if we could just go to the schedule. So we can see in the top of the schedule here that Patrick has requested unavailability. So unavailability will always be purple in the schedule. And then we can see that Sasha here on Friday, Saturday and Sunday has got approved leave. If leave has not yet been approved, it will have a dotted line around the edge. And that will not notify you that they have requested leave. You will still be able to schedule them in as usual if the leave has not yet been requested. But let's try and schedule in Patrick. So if you want to find Patrick and just drag him across into one of those shifts. So you can see here that we've been told that Patrick is not available from 12 till 12, but it will still allow us to create the shift if we need to. So we can go ahead and create the shift. So just to show you a slightly different view as well, Charles, if you can just click on the plus button under the bakery, perhaps, just so that we can add another shift. Yeah, so if we go to who is working, empty shift, and we go to find Patrick, probably will not say that he's on leave now. So it says overlapping. It will say there, it says at the moment it's overlapping because we've already got him there, but it will say on leave. So you will be able to see in that list if an employee is not available. So yeah, perhaps try with Sasha. So Sasha is on leave there. So you'll also, when you're scheduling, you'll be able to see that someone is on leave. And if you can just close that, Charles. So we can see Patrick's shift as well has a little warning sign. So that will stay there. It will just remind you that Patrick is unavailable and that we have scheduled him in, but it will still allow you to publish the shift as well. So that is one more question. Have we got time for another one, Diana, or are we going to have to wrap up?
Oh, I think we can have time for another one really quickly. A really good question that I have here is, if a staff member goes home sick, how do I divide the time worked and the sick leave in the timesheet? So this is a great question. What we'll need to do is we'll actually need to set 2 separate timesheets. So Charles, if we could quickly go into timesheets, approve timesheets. Yep. What we'll do is we'll set a timesheet up for Patrick. What we'll do, let's just say he worked from 9 to 12. Quick way to do is import. Yep. So 9 a.m. to, let's just put 12 p.m. Yep. If there's any break, we could put the break there. And then we can quickly go and approve it. And the next timesheet would be the timesheet where he'll need to put in the sick leave. So we'll go back, add timesheet. And then let's just say from 12 to 5, he felt unwell, so he needed to go home. We'll select the time. Area of work. We'll scroll all the way down and find sick leave. And then now we'll put in the time. So from 12 to 5. And then here we can then put in any breaks or anything. In this case, no breaks. And then we'll click approve. And that's how you enter in a timesheet for someone who left early because they're feeling sick or was doing half day. So it seems as though our time's almost up, everyone. Thanks for sending through these fantastic questions. Before we conclude our webinar, I'd like to ask everyone to please take a minute to complete the short survey in the Q&A panel. The video training and Q&As will be available and posted on our training page on our website. We will have our next webinar in February 2022, so look out for the announcement.